Thank you, Michael. Good morning. My name is Paul Dalzell, and I am the worship coordinator of the Unitarian Universalist Congregation of Charleston. Thank you for joining us today. Welcome all of you, our members, our friends, and if this is your first time here, we welcome you and thank you for joining us. You came here looking for something this morning. It might have been a connection with others, a community, a place to ground yourself, inspiration, or refuge from a world gone mad. Whatever brought you here, we are glad it did. If you are new to UUC, I'm sure you will find us an open, accepting congregation. We are guided by the 7 principles that you see around you and 6 shared values: justice, equity, transformation, pluralism, interdependence, and generosity, all centered around love. So at this worship service, I want to do a little etymology. The word worship comes from the Old English word "worshipé," which means to shape what is of worth. Well, I truly believe that is what we are doing here now. It's what we do when we gather together in this place with all of our differences. We gather to be part of a community, to sing together, to listen deeply, to find respite from the outside world for an hour, to shape what is of worth to us. Now, please join us in singing our welcome song. We sing it through twice, and if you feel comfortable doing so, greet those around you with a smile, a nod, or a hello. The words are in your order of service and will be on the screen.
Whoever you are, we welcome you. Wherever you come from, we welcome you. Whomever you love, we welcome you. Whoever you are, we welcome you. Wherever you come from, we welcome you. Whomever you love, we welcome you.
Please check your insert for goings-on here at UUC this coming week and in the near future. We also have a couple of announcements that have been handed in. We had a good evening at the Stewardship Camaraderie. We still have some Subway sandwiches to enjoy eating today after the service. And please give a pledge form if you have not yet, or sign up online. The forms that look like this are in the back corner of the bookcase where the hymnals are. Also, a May Day action is coming up on May 1st at Slack Plaza at 11 a.m. You can look it up online, maydaystrong.org. And one more I have, we do have our rummage sale this spring. So if you have any rummage, save it for us. Save the date also, June 13th. And we will be releasing more information as we get closer to the date. But one thing, please do not bring anything to the UU office until June 1st.
Yeah, and Paul, if I may, I'll take sign-ups today. I've heard furniture. There's some furniture out there. So if you want, talk to me after the service, and we'll schedule a day that week. I'll come by in my truck and pick it up.
For our chalice lighting this morning, we inherit this free faith from the brave and gentle. Please read it in unison with me as Maria lights our chalice. This light we kindle is set in the lamp of our history. We inherit this free faith from the brave and gentle, fierce and outspoken hearts and minds that have come before us. Let us be worthy inheritors of this faith, and through our good works, pass it boldly to a new generation. Our first song for all is We Are Here by Serena Partridge. Please rise in voice, body, and spirit as you are willing and able. The lyrics will be on the screens.
Okay, this is one of the songs that was sang in the Minneapolis protests, and it's a very familiar song. And Mike and I will sing it through, and you can sing along if you know it, but we'll sing it through once so you get a picture of it. We are here with our courage and our love for... Let's start again, Mike,
Oh, here's your
without the guitar.
Well, there's your note right there. We
Are here with our courage and our love for each other will carry us through.
Carry us through.
Yes, our love for each other will carry us through.
Carry us
Now, everybody, we are here, with our hope, and our love for each other will carry us through.
Carry us through.
Yes, our love for each other will carry us through.
Carry us through.
We are here with our justice and our love for each other will carry us through.
Carry us through.
Yes, our love for each other will carry us through.
Carry us through.
We are here with our city and our love for each other will carry us through.
Carry us through.
Yes, our love for each other will carry us through.
Carry us through.
We are here with West Virginia, and our love for each other will carry us through. Yes, our love for each other will carry us through. We are here with our country, and our love for each other will carry us through.
Carry us through.
Yes, our love for each other will carry us through. Here with our world, and our love for each other will carry us through. Yes, our love for each other will carry us through. We hadn't planned on singing the first verse for you first. I threw that in there, so that got us all messed up, but
We come to this sanctuary, whether in person or virtually, to connect with our community, sharing our joys and our celebrations, our sorrows and our concerns, our peace and our needs, helps our community become closer and stronger. That is the community we all need in these times. So we have joys. The Race Against Racism is on Saturday. Was on Saturday. A joy for watching Austin's gymnastics show. I bet I know who wrote that one. The discussion group was on childhood memories and going to the West Virginia Music Hall of Fame later. I'm going to put that under concern. A personal joy is for the love I felt this past week. My dear friends who took care of me last Sunday, Sarah and Mary Beth Beller, and all of you in this community who reached out to me during and after my hospitalization. To all of you, I send this song here last week. So, concerns. Mentioned it during the announcements, but there is a May 1st protest. Along with that, there is no participating in the current economy. Don't work, don't go to school, no shopping. That on that same day, May 1st, yes. And please keep Cassie Warren's family in your thoughts. Her stepdad is in the ICU after a motorcycle accident, and ex-brother-in-law is in ICU on life support after a car accident. So do that, please. For all these joys and sorrows, both spoken and unspoken, may we remember, shared joy is multiplied and shared sadness is diminished. Now, as a special treat, our ministers emeriti, Mel and Rose, will share a story for all ages with us. It's called Olivia Butler.
Because the camera's up there.
The full title for today's story for all ages is Octavia Butler Says It's Important to Tell the Whole Story. I'd like to say a few words to introduce Octavia Butler, one of my favorite authors, before sharing why it's important to tell the whole story. Octavia loved reading and libraries and was very happy when her mom took her to get her very own library card. The library became her second home. That is impressive because she had dyslexia and often read slowly. When she was 9 years old, she saw her first science fiction movie, Devil Girl from Mars, and it left her with two thoughts. Somebody got paid for writing that story. And, geez, I can write a better story than that. From the age of 10, she walked around with a notebook to write down her stories when she had a free moment. After college, she got up at 2 a.m. every morning to write before everyone had computers, so she had to use an old typewriter, and then went to work, doing odd jobs, potato chip inspector, dishwasher, telemarketer, until her stories and books sold enough to support her. As an adult, she said, I don't ever recall having wanted desperately to be a Black woman fiction writer. I just wanted to be a writer. In a PBS interview, she said her oath to herself was, do the thing you love and do it as well as you possibly can and be persistent about it. Octavia Butler died in 2006 from a fall. Mel will tell you why she knows it's important to tell the whole story, not just part of it.
As a writer of science fiction, Octavia Butler liked to imagine about 30 years into the future and how we humans might solve our problems. She wondered, would we be kind or would we be mean? How might things turn out? As our world appreciated and approached the year of 2000, she wrote an essay titled, A Few Rules for Predicting the Future. She recalled giving a talk at a college and having a book signing afterwards and people could also ask her questions. In a couple of her science fiction books that you may have read, Parable of the Sower and Parable of the Talents, she wrote about future problems. At that book signing, a college student asked her, "Do you really believe that in the future we're going to have the kind of trouble you write about in your books?" He meant problems like drug addiction, too many prisons, gap between rich and poor, and global warming.
Octavia said, "I didn't make up the problems. All I did was look around at the problems we're neglecting now and give them about 30 years to grow into full-fledged disasters."
Okay, so what's the answer?
There isn't one.
No answer? You mean we're just doomed? He smiled.
No, I mean there's no single answer that will solve all our future problems. There's no magic bullet. Instead, there are thousands of answers at least. You can be one of the answers if you choose to be.
A few days later, Octavia actually received a copy of the student's story that he wrote for his college newspaper. He mentioned her books and some of the problems they deal with. Then he quoted his own question, "What's the answer?" His article ended with just the first 3 words of her reply: "There isn't one." The article made her sad. The quote was incomplete, and she said it turned her response into a lie. She wanted people to know there are many answers. She never wanted her characters or her readers to lose hope in the future. As she said in her essay, in fact, the very act of trying to look ahead to discern possibility is in itself an act of hope.
That was good. Please read with me, if you would, in unison, Our Covenant to Each Other by James Vila Blake. It's in your order of service. Love is the spirit of our faith, and service its law. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, and to help one another. Our offering words today are Honoring Church Ancestors by Alice Anacheka Naisman. Let's take a moment to honor the ancestors of this church, the people who first came together to create a home for liberal religion here in the Kanawha Valley. We worked to raise money for a building, those who sat in committee meetings and created bylaws, who chopped and marinated and baked for potlucks, who painted and weeded and pounded nails and washed countless dishes. Those who gathered to worship, to learn, to grieve, to heal, to serve, to build justice, to transform their lives and this world. We are the recipients of an incredible gift and a beautiful vision. Let's do our part to keep this congregation strong, vital, and thriving for the generations to come. The morning offering will now be gratefully received.
This is a song that you may or may not know, but it's by part of our UU history, a woman who wrote lots of songs that were popular, Malvina Reynolds, and the title is "It Isn't Nice." It isn't nice to block the doorway. It isn't nice to go to jail. There are nicer ways to do it. but the nice ways always fail. It isn't nice, it isn't nice. You told us once, you told us twice, but if that is freedom's price, we don't mind, we don't mind. It isn't nice to carry banners, or to sit in on the floor, or to shout our cry of freedom at the hotel and the store. It isn't nice, it isn't nice. You told us once, you told us twice, but if that is freedom's price, we don't mind. We have tried negotiations and the three-man picket line. Miss Capito, she didn't see us. She might as well be blind when we deal with people of ice. We're people of ice, but if that is freedom's price, we don't mind. Do that verse again, I messed it up. We have tried negotiations and the three-man picket line. Miss Capito didn't see us, and she might as well be blind. Now our new ways aren't nice when we deal with men of ice. But if that is freedom's price, we don't mind.
First chorus. It isn't nice to block the doorway. It isn't nice to go to jail. There are nicer ways to do it, but the nice ones always fail. It isn't nice, it isn't nice.
You told us once, you told us twice, but if that ain't freedom's price, we don't mind, we don't mind.
Malvina Reynolds. Awesome.
Let's take a moment, just sit and breathe, to meditate, to ponder, pray if you wish, most of all, to sit here with one another in community. Please relax in your chairs. Plant your feet on the floor. Square your shoulders. Feel free to close your eyes or unfocus them or gaze into our chalice flame. Breathe. Breathe in through your nose and breathe out through your mouth. Settle into this moment, this space. Our meditation words today are "The Foundation We Did Not Lay" by Reverend Peter Rabel. We build on foundations we did not lay. We warm ourselves by fires we did not light. We sit in the shade of trees we did not plant. We drink from wells we did not dig. We profit from persons we did not know. We are ever bound in community. Together, we can build across the generations. I would like to introduce our special guest speakers now, all the way from Seattle. Rose and Mel helped create this worship coordinator you see before you. I joined the congregation under them, and they invited me to be a worship associate during their time here. I present to you Rose Eddington and Mel Hoover.
It's a joy to be with you this morning, and we are sorry it's not in person as originally planned. Our daughter's health is now more stable as she deals with MCAS, which stands for Mast Cell Activation Syndrome, something we would have preferred not to learn about, but you know, that's life. And we also want to thank so many of you concern for my mom.
Also, we have to lift up a word of thanks to the coordinator of this service, Paul. You did a great job of helping frame it up and helping us in figuring out how best to do this. And so, thank you. Thank you.
So we took the title for today's message, What History Are We Making?, from an article by Kelly Brown Douglas that she wrote for the Christian Century, a magazine we have subscribed to seemingly forever, at least over 5 decades, and it is an unlikely name for a liberal theological publication. The name has history. At the dawning of the 20th century, there was an optimistic religious movement that predicted that the 20th century would be the time when all the world would come to know of Jesus' saving love. And by the year 2000, we would have a Christian world. The Christian Century magazine would both cover that movement and contribute to it. And I want to be clear, this was not a Christian nationalism movement. It was a missionary movement to convert heathens and pagans. They needed to know the love of Jesus and to become Christian, and it was also to promote a more love-based Christianity in the United States. And here we are, just over a quarter into the 21st century, living in a world where Christianity is one of many religious expressions, and a Christianity based in love needs much better press. The religious fervor surrounding the 20th century movement was overly optimistic, yet persistent. It changed both Christianity and the various religions encountered by missionaries. Think of South Africa and Bishop Desmond Tutu, and it's a more positive Christianity that contributed to a Truth and Reconciliation Committee as that country struggled to undo apartheid. On the other hand, think of Uganda, where a biblical literalist view developed and has led to the outlawing of gay folks. On a lighter note, some of you remember Dottie Kendig and her family, who were members here. They went to South America as Mennonite missionaries, and as Dottie liked to say, the native people converted us. What she meant was that she and her family came to respect the people they were supposed to convert, and they could not with integrity work from the conversion mindset of Christianity as the only true religion. It's no wonder they became Unitarian Universalists. Our world continues to live with the after effects of what did not turn out to be the Christian century. Actually, by about the last third of the 20th century, the movement to convert the world to Christianity had pretty much died down, or was tied to more fundamentalist expressions of faith. But the familiarity of the magazine's name among its readers, Christian Century, did not. So today we have the paradox of a magazine with an old name that is filled with articles on decolonizing Christianity, on liberation theologies, on archaeological finds that challenge, change, and add to old scriptures. When the magazine moved from a weekly publication to a monthly, it could have chosen to change its name, but they didn't. And for me, symbolically, keeping the same name lets us know that the past is never over. Our present is always under revision, and predicting the future is often more a matter of curiosity than fact. These days, many of us in the United States are asking, what history are we making as we've made war on Iran with its potential for who knows what, which we will not be getting into, except to note that it is important to check in with ourselves as to how we are doing in these times, and to ask ourselves what we need to do or to have during this, our particular historical time. First, let's realize that all times are historical and consequential in varying degrees to varying people and to our earth. The blurb for this service, quoting James Baldwin and Kelly Brown Douglas from an article in that Christian Century, affirm that we have to keep making the world over and over. One way to do that is through stories. Brown Douglas said that when her son first asked her, "What is history?" she told him, "History is the story we write with our lives." She is telling us we all have a history, and we are all part of making or writing history. She reminds me of Mary Oliver's question, "What will you do with your one wild and precious life?" If we are going to make and keep our lives wild and precious, there are 3 practices that I believe can help. They are the practice of truth-telling, the practice of upholding the morality of kindness, and the practice of putting love at the center of our actions. Brown Douglas has a good observation on the need to practice truth-telling. She says, "We live in a time when standing for truth is labeled divisive, while embracing dehumanizing ideologies is praised as viewpoint diversity. The idea of viewpoint diversity when it comes to truth makes my eyes roll. I guess that's about the only way some folks want their diversity, so they can accept untruths or lies as a different point of view. Can any of us imagine what our parents would have said to us if they caught us in a fib and we said, "No, Mom, no, Dad, I'm not fibbing. I just have a different point of view"? My exasperated parents may have smiled at that creative response as they sent me to my room until I recovered the ability to tell the truth. I would guess that we adults here would not want to hear the children in our lives tell us their lives are just a different point of view. We want the children in our lives and their friends to know and value integrity as they make their way in the world. Brown Douglas goes on to say, "Indifference is mistaken for neutrality and silence for civility. This signals a time defined by moral compromise, if not outright moral disregard. It undermines our moral imaginary, the vital capacity to envision and pursue a just and equitable future." For me, the idea of adopting a morality of kindness is what Brown Douglas means. I realize that could sound like a soft morality or even moral compromise, especially if we're trying to be a nice person and not ruffle feathers. What I mean is that it is kind to tell the truth, even when it's difficult. The college student who skewed Octavia Butler's answer, that there are thousands of answers to future issues, not just one, did not practice moral kindness. He practiced an inaccuracy that made him sound clever. For coming generations with their own challenges, it is a kindness to tell the hard truths of our history. We need to know stories about the courage of those who worked for racial justice, who marched for women's and LGBTQ rights, who continue to believe in democracy, equality, and equity, who have chosen and choose to operate from a sense of love at the center, a concept often rooted in or inspired by a religious heritage. We need to know that these are more than the stories of individual people who rarely operated alone, but had a community to back them up. We need to know that we, the people, are part of systems And we, the people, can change the systems, even if we have to do it over and over again, or have to practice the eternal vigilance that is the price of liberty. Or to change systems so they can meet the times. And we need to co-create a different world through the systems we change, different from the world we grew up in.
So, African American Diana Nash is definitely one of those who co-created a different world from the one she grew up in. She was an inspiration for the communities that organized during the civil rights era, whose truth, morality, and love continue to inspire us today. These highlights of her life are from Dr. William Spivey, March 17th Medium article. Diane was originally from Chicago. The racism she experienced growing up was subtle. Restricted housing, limited job opportunities, segregated social life. In 1959, she began college at Fisk University in Nashville, Tennessee, and for the first time experienced the more explicitly Southern racism, white and colored. Signs at water fountains, the denial of basic public accommodations, the everyday humiliations of Jim Crow. She was shocked and becoming politically awake. Diane understood the need to make good trouble. At Fisk, Diane participated in workshops for leading nonviolent direct action. And through role playing, students there learned how to deal with harassment and how to maintain calm composure when assaulted. And assaulted they would be. They also studied nonviolence as a disciplined, strategic method, not a passive stance. Nash's calm, analytical mind, with its capacity for long-range planning, plus her unwavering moral clarity, made her one of the most effective student leaders in the nation. She quickly became a central figure in the Nashville student movement, coordinating sit-ins at segregated lunch counters and negotiating with city officials. She confronted Ben West, then mayor of Nashville, on the courthouse steps one day and asked him this: "Do you believe it is morally right to discriminate against Black citizens?" The mayor responded, "No." And that marked a turning point as Nashville became the first major Southern city to desegregate its lunch counters, and Diana Nash is seen and became an effective strategy and strategist locally and nationally. She became involved with the Freedom Riders, the student groups that challenged the Southern states that refused to enforce the 1955 Supreme Court's ruling that said segregated interstate buses were unconstitutional. And then, moving forward in 1960, the Supreme Court ruled that waiting rooms and restaurants in bus stations could no longer be segregated. This ruling also, however, was ignored. The Freedom Riders were integrated groups of college students who bravely boarded buses that would cross into Southern states. John Lewis was one of those freedom riding students practicing good trouble then. And it was troubling when most of the students were violently attacked by white mobs. I remember seeing those scenes and how they impacted me. Local officials took their time before intervening in the attacks, and then it was not to arrest the attackers, but to arrest the students for trespassing, unlawful assembly, or violating state and Jim Crow laws. When freedom riders were beaten nearly to death in Alabama, that's when Martin Luther King considered calling off the rides. He was concerned and didn't want them hurt. However, Diane Nash believed that stopping would reward violence, and that was not okay. She organized more riders and insisted that the federal government intervene, and her leadership led to the significant victory of integrated buses throughout the whole United States. Nash and King had a relationship that grew and grew because they gained mutual respect and trust. Spivey says that King relied on Nash to translate moral principles into operational plans. She served as a bridge between SCLC's clergy leadership and the younger, more militant student organizers, because all were needed in the struggle. Nash believed that people are their own leaders, and with this philosophy helped influence even Dr. King's commitment to participatory democracy. Now, as UUs, we take pride that the UUA board and many of our clergy participated in the 1963 Selma March for voting rights. It was a moment in time, and we met that moment. Nash and her husband, James Bevel, were key organizers in helping the march happen. They saw voting as a practical tool for transforming communities. And guess what? They were right, and they still are right. Voting is a practical tool for transformation, which is why the Voting Rights Act has been under attack since its very passing, and why the UUA has a national program for getting out the vote. We are getting out the vote, and guess what? We got to do it again. Nonviolent action, I believe, is a way of putting love at the center of our lives and our social justice actions. Now, for Nash, it was not just a tactic or strategy, but it was for real, a way of life, a way of her life, a way to transform both individuals and our society. She believed through organized nonviolence, the ordinary people, that's you and me, you and I, could confront and dismantle systems of oppression. She showed us that white charismatic leaders are helpful, but social justice movements, they simply are not enough. We also need disciplined organizers who understand how to build power. Nash reminds us that strategy, courage, and moral clarity can change history. Diane Nash is still very much alive at age 87, and I celebrate that. And she lives in her original hometown of Chicago, once again. And she has continued to influence students as an educator and is known as an advocate in the area for fair housing. And guess what? As an anti-war activist.
We would like to wind up this morning with saying just a little more about the idea of operating with love at the center, which has become such a key part of today's expression of Unitarian Universalism. It is what we strive to practice. Putting love at the center calls for an unusual definition of love. We often think of love as a romantic feeling between a couple, which is quite true.
Kind of like that.
Or the special bond sensed among family members and friends. And in one sense, it is. It is also more than this.
We share from our heart Arthur Bell Hooks, who provides a definition that gets to the heart of the idea of love at the center. Quote, love is a radical political act. To truly love, choose connection over fear, care over dominion, and courage over comfort. When we choose to love, we choose to move against fear, against alienation and separation. Love isn't weakness, it's the most revolutionary thing a person can offer. There is an online meme going around. Some of you may have seen it. It says one of the most successful decaptions of our time is getting us to fear diversity more than racism, to fear equality more than misogyny, to fear democracy more than fascism, to fear immigrations and immigrants more than authoritarians, to fear those who are poor more than corrupt billionaires, and to fear empathy more than cruelty. In the history we are making, let us choose to love diversity more than racism, to love equality more than misogyny, to love democracy more than fascism, to love immigrants more than the authoritarians, and to love those who are poor more than the corrupt billionaires. And most importantly, to love empathy more than cruelty. So may that be true, and so may it be.
We
Love you.
And wherever we're going to get there together.
We will get there together.
Our last song for all is We Get There Together by Joshua H. Blaine. Please once again rise in voice, body, or spirit as you are willing and able.
That's it.
We're going to sing this through 4 times. It's a pretty simple tune. No one is getting left behind this time. No one is getting left behind. No one is getting left behind this time. We get there together, never get there at all. We get there together, never get there at all. We get there together, never get there at all. No one is getting left behind this time. No one is getting left behind. No one is getting left behind this time. We get there together or never get there at all. We get there together or never get there at all. We get there together or never get there at all. No one is getting left behind this time. No one is getting left behind. No one is getting left behind this time. We get there together or never get there at all. We get there together or never get there at all. We get there together or never get there at all. No one is getting left behind this time. No one is getting left behind. No one is getting left behind this time. We get there together or never get there at all. We get there together or never get there at all. We get there together or never get there at all.
Please be seated. Our closing words, which today are inspired by our ancestors, by Leah Derland Jones. For those who came before us, we offer gratitude and thanks. May their memories be a blessing, and we feel surrounded by their love. As we go forth from this time and place, let us be inspired by their courage, their wisdom, and their dreams. Let us honor them by doing the work of living boldly, loving mightily, and creating heaven on earth. Let's make it so.
Hold on, my dear ones, here comes the dawn. Hold on, my dear ones, here comes the dawn.
One more time.
Hold on, my dear ones, here comes the dawn.
Now let's sing our recessional together as I extinguish the chalice, which will end our formal time of worship together.
Go now in peace, go now in peace. May the spirit of love surround you everywhere, everywhere you may go.
Thank you for sharing this time.
Thanks, Paul.